Hello, welcome, I'm Andreas, your tech-curious web designer. In this tutorial, we will build the following and the friends pages. These features are essential for turning a standard website into a true social network, helping users to connect, to suggest other accounts to follow, and to build meaningful relationships. But before we get started, if you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and click the bell icon. This helps me to grow this channel and to reach more aspiring web developers. And if you want to support my work financially, you can subscribe to my Patreon page and get access to exclusive content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Okay, and now without further ado, let's dive in. A big thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, buymeacoffee.com and on YouTube. And a special shout out to my newest supporter Eileen. Thank you so much for your support. In this tutorial we will implement the following page. So here I can see I'm not following any accounts yet, but it gives me suggested accounts to follow. So I follow Pete, and when I refresh the page now, Pete moved to the following accounts. Then we also add the friends page. And here I see that Pete is also following me, and that makes us friends. But if I unfollow Pete, I get the message that mutual follows become friends, and it suggests Pete to follow, as he's following me already. So when I follow him back, we become friends. Additionally, on the profile page, we make following and followers clickable, which open up modal windows to show the relationships this user has. Alright, let's start coding. As first, let's create the following page. I'm going to the network folder, here to the views.py file, and define here the following view function. Add the login required decorator, and here I create a list of all the IDs of users I follow. With request.user, then is follower, this is accessing the follow table and fetches all the objects where I'm the follower. And then to get the IDs of the users I'm following, I use here the values list, and by setting flat to true, I just get a list of IDs. And now to get the following users objects, I go to the users table and filter them by ID in following IDs. Here I'm using double underscores to look up IDs inside this list. Then I add here the context with the page name following. We need this to highlight the following button in the navigation, and add the following users object. And then I return the following.html file. And because we will display this page also with the Htmx response, I check if it's a Htmx request and return the following partial. Alright, save this file. Now let's create this following.html file. I copy the name, go to the networks folder, and add here this file. Here I extend from the main layout, load the static tag, add the title, and then I add the content block, which includes the following partial. Okay, save this file. Now let's create this following partial. I go to the partials folder and create this file. Here first I check if we have following users, and if this is the case, I create a loop. So for this user in following users, I display each user account with a user card. We will create this file in a second. Then close the loop with N4. Else, if we don't have following users, I display the text no accounts following. And close it with Endiv. Okay, let's style this page. I wrap it in a container with the classes margin left of 18, margin left of 60 on large screen sizes, padding left and right of 4, and padding left and right of 12 on extra large screens. This is the page itself. Then inside I have a container for the content. I position in the middle with the classes max width of 5XL, margin left and right of auto, and padding top and bottom of 8. Then we have the loop. The loop is inside the container with a grid layout, with grid calls, and here I'm creating as many columns as will fit in the container, with each column having a minimum width of 180 pixels and a gap of 4. Okay, then we style the text, wrap it in a container with the classes text center, font medium, text color neutral 400, small text, padding top and bottom of 12, and margin right of 60 on large screen sizes. Then if this is a response to a Htmx request, I update the title of this page and also update the navigation. Okay, save this file. Now let's create the user card. I copy the name, go to the partials folder, and create this file. This card shows the user's avatar image wrapped in an A tag to the profile page. Then underneath we have the user's username, and then a follow button. Okay, let's style this. The classes I give to the article container are flex call with item center and a gap of 4, with a background color of neutral 100 with 80 opacity, neutral 100 on hover. In dark mode we have a neutral 800 background, and on hover a neutral 700 with 70 opacity, padding of 4, and extra large rounded corners. Then we style the A tag. I gave this element the size of 22, fully rounded, and overflow hidden. Then the avatar image with the classes full width and full height and object cover. Then the username with the class font medium and the follow button with a rose 500 background color, rose 600 on hover, white text, fully rounded corners, padding left and right of 5, padding top and bottom of 1, and medium font. Okay, save this file. With this we have finished styling the template. Let's add now the path. I'm going to the urls.py file and add the following path at the root, calling the following view function. Okay, save this file. And as last step, we create the link in the navigation. I'm going to the navigation file, which is in the global templates folder. Here includes navigation.html. Here we have the following button. I add here hx get request to the following function. Target is the main content. Swap it with inner HTML, enter transition, and push the URL to the browser's address bar. Then if this is the following page, I display the icon in a rose 500 color, as well as the text for the button. Okay, save this file, and let's check it out. I'm clicking the following button, and this is my following page. And as we can see, I'm following Bobby and Beat.
Oh, it's beautiful.
As next, let's implement the logic for the follow button. I'm going to the user card, cut out the button from here, then go to the partials folder, and create the follow rounded.html file. Paste the code in here, and include it back in this file. Then I grab the code we already built for the follow button in the follow button.html file, copy here the code, paste the code in here, and swap the code for the follow button. And also update the following button. Here we have a dark background color of neutral 700 and 600 on hover, rounded full, and the same classes for the paddings and font medium. Then we change the ID to follow rounded, and also add the parameter follow rounded equals true to the Htmx get request. Alright. And as we won't need to replace the round button on the home page, we can remove this line here. Okay, save this file. Now let's update the follow function. I'm going to the views.py file. Here to the follow function. And here I'm adding if the get request has the follow rounded parameter. I'm sending back the follow rounded partial. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. And now the buttons are active and I can see I'm following Bobby and Beat. Now I'm unfollowing Bobby and refresh the page again. And now Bobby is removed from the page. And if there are no users I'm following, I get the no accounts following text. Okay, next, instead of displaying a blank page, let's add here a section for suggested accounts to follow. And we show, for example, the 10 most popular users. I'm going to the following view and create here a list with all the users I'm not following. For this, I fetch first all the objects from the user table, excluding the users I'm following already. And then I also exclude the logged in user itself. And as second step, I order these users by the likes their post received, and I only display the top 10. I take here the users list. With annotate, I add an additional property to each user object with the name total likes, which counts how many likes each user got from their posts. And this thing's true makes sure we don't count likes multiple times, which could happen in many-to-many relationships. Then I order them by the total likes in reversed order, so from the most to the least likes, and I'm only interested in the top 10 users. Okay, let's import count. From django.db.models. And then we add the suggested users object to the context. Okay, save this file. Now let's display them on the page. I'm going back to the following partial. And add here a section if we have suggested users. With a small title. With the classes font medium, neutral 400 text color, small text, padding top of 12 and padding bottom of 4. Then underneath we have the loop. I copy the grid element with the loop from up here. And here instead of following users, we have suggested users. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. And as we can see, we have now a suggested account section here with the most popular accounts to follow. And I can follow here Bobby and Pete. Nice.
Nice.
Alright, as next let's implement the friends page. I'm going to the views.py file. And add here the friends view. Add the login required decorator. Add here again the following IDs variable. These are all the users I'm following. As well as the followers IDs. So these are all the IDs of my followers. Here the requested user is accessing the isFollowed property to retrieve a list of my followers. And to get now the friends, we are looking for the IDs in both lists. And we can do this by converting the lists into sets and use the AND operator to create an intersection. Then I create a friends object, fetching all the users which are in the friends IDs list, and order them by the username. And additionally, I also create an object for suggested friends. Here I want to display my followers, excluding the users which are already my friends. And also here I'm ordering them by the username. Then I add the context with the page variable and set it to friends. Then we have the friends and the suggested friends objects. And finally, we return the friends.html file. Or if it's a Htmx request, the friends partial. Okay, save this file. Now let's create the friends template. I go to the network folder and create this file. Extending again from the main layout, load the static tag with the friends title and add the content block with the friends partial. Okay, now let's create this partial. In here I copy all the code we have in the following partial. So I copy this code and paste it in here. Here we have if we have friends, we're looping through the friends. If we have no friends, we display mutual follows become friends. Then underneath we have the suggested friends, which are you followers, and we loop through the suggested friends. And then we update the title. Okay, save this file. Next, let's create the URL for this page. I add here the friends path. And finally, the link in the navigation. Here we have the friends button. And I add the Htmx attributes with the hx get request to the friends URL. Alright. And then I also add the red highlight color on the icon and the text. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. I click the friends button and as we can see right now I have Pete as my friend. Let's unfollow Pete and refresh the page again. And as we can see here, right now I have no friends because I don't follow anyone who follows me. But it suggests me here to follow Pete to become friends. And of course I'm doing that. Yes, and we're friends again.
Yeah!
Another place where we can display the following and the followers is on the profile page. So as next, we will implement here modal windows to display the following and followers of this user. I'm going to the profile page, in the users folder, templates, users, partials, and profile.html. Here we have the following element. And as first, let's transform it into a button. By clicking on it, I open the modal box window. Then I give this button an underline and hover. Add the hx get request to the profile URL. And adding the parameter following equals true. The target is the modal box content. And I swap it within a HTML. Okay, save this file. Now let's go to the profile view function. I'm going to the views.py file, to the profile view. Then here I check if the get request has the following parameter. Then I create an accounts variable and fetch all the users where the user has a isFollow property and the profile user is the follower. So this gives me all the users this profile user is following. And then I return the profile following partial. We will create this partial in a second. And pass through the accounts object. Okay, save this file. And now let's create this partial. Go into the partials folder. And create this file. Here we have a title with the classes text center, font medium, text XL, with a padding top and bottom of 1 and a margin bottom of 6. Then here I check if we have accounts. In that case, I'm looping through the accounts with for this user in accounts, displaying a link to the user. And if this user is not the logged in user, I also display the follow rounded button. Then we close the loop. Else if there are no accounts, I display no accounts following. And close it with endif. Okay, let's style this section. I give the article container the classes flex, item center and justify between, with a neutral 100 background color, extra large rounded corners, a padding of 4, and margin left and right, and margin bottom of 4. Then we link it to the profile page of this user. And I give this link the classes flex, item center, and a gap of 3. Then let's create the user element. We have here the image of the user's avatar with the classes full width, full height, and object cover. And the container has the classes size of 12, rounded full, and overflow hidden. Then next to it we have the username with medium font and underline on hover, and the name in small text. And then we style the no accounts text with flex, item center, justify center, medium font, neutral 400 text color, and small text. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. So I click now on the following link here, and this opens a modal window with the two accounts speed is following. Then let's go to my profile page. And these are the users I am following. And I can also unfollow them from here. The following count changed to 0. And we get the text, no accounts following. Okay, but let's follow them again. I'm going to the following page. And follow again Bobby and Pete. Alright. As next, let's display the followers on the profile page. I'm going back to the profile partial. Here we have the followers element. First I change this element again into a button. Then add the click event, the class underline on hover, the Htmx get request to the profile page with the parameter followers equals true, the target, and the swap attribute. Okay, save this file. Now let's go to the profile view. If the get request has the followers parameter, I fetch here all the users with a isFollow property following the profile user. And here again I return the profile following partial with the accounts object and an additional variable for followers and set it to true. So with this we can create conditions in the template. Okay, save this file. Now let's go to the template. So if we have the followers variable, the title is followers, else is following. And then also a condition if there are no accounts to display. So if we have followers, I display the text no followers yet, be the first one, else no accounts following. And close it with endif. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. I click on followers and we see that Pete and admin are following Bobby. Let's check out my followers. And I am followed by Pete. Nice. Alright, and with this we have finished this feature. Let's just quickly check the new following page in Darkmode. And as we can see, the Darkmode styles are not being used yet, so we need to update the styles.css file. For this we have to run the tailwind CLI command. So I open a new terminal window, I click the plus sign here, make sure I'm inside the virtual environment, and run the tailwind CLI command to include the new Darkmode classes in the CSS file. Okay, let's check it out. Sometimes we also have to hard refresh the page because the browser cached the old CSS file. And now the Darkmode classes are active. Nice. Let's also check on the profile page. But as we can see, also here the following button have the Darkmode classes active. However, in modal windows I always have a white background and I want the Darkmode classes here disabled. So this is the code we display in a modal window. And here we include the follow rounded button. So when it's inside a modal window, I give this button an extra variable. So with modal equals true. So now the button in a modal window has this modal variable available and we can create a condition. Let's go back to the follow rounded button. Here we have the two Darkmode classes. And I display these classes only if it's not a modal window. And close it with endif. And then we add this variable also to the Htmx response. And for this I'm sending the modal variable as an additional parameter to the backend. So if it's a modal, I add the parameter modal equals true using the end symbol. And close it with endif. Okay, save this file. Now let's go to the view. I go to the follow function and add the modal variable to the context. So if the get request has a modal parameter, this modal variable is true, otherwise it's false. Okay, save this file and let's check it out. And as we can see, now the following buttons are not using the Darkmode classes anymore. Nice. So let's check again on the following page. And here the buttons use the Darkmode classes. Great. Alright, and this is all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. In the next tutorial, we will implement the search feature to search for specific users, as well as search for posts by tags. If you like this content, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to click the bell icon, not to miss the next one. I hope to see you there. Until then, happy coding my friends, and bye bye for now.